Hello friends, today's topic of discussion is dicotyledon's root and monocotyledon root. So we can discuss the detailed internal tissue organization in dicotyledon and monocotyledon root. In dicotyledon root, the outermost layer is the epiblema. Epiblema means the epidermis which is seen in the root system is termed as epiblema. It's an imperfect epidermis. Many of the cells of the epiblema or the epidermis protrude in the form of unicellular hairs. So there is the presence of unicellular root hairs. These root hairs increase the surface area for absorption. Next to the epidermis, we can see another layer, that is the cortex. In this region, the cells are parenchymatous cells. The nature of the cell is parenchymatous and there is presence of intercellular spaces between the cells. Next to the cortical layer, we can see another layer called endodermis. Next layer to the cortex, it is the endodermis. In this layer, the cells are closely packed and the cells are parallel in shape. So the cells are parallel in shape and they are closely packed, and in these cells we can see a deposition of water impermeable and a waxy substance called casparian. Okay. So in this endodermis we can see a deposition of water impermeable, a waxy material. That waxy material, it is impermeable to water, and that waxy material is a substance of suberin material and it's a form of casparian strips. So we can see casparian strips, that is a waxy material in the endodermis. Next to the endodermis, we can see another layer of thick-walled parenchymatous cell called pericycle. Okay, next to endodermis or next to endodermis layer of cells, we can see another layer called pericycle, and in this layer the cells are thick-walled parenchymatous cell. From this pericycle, the insertion of lateral roots and vascular cambium, which is responsible for the secondary growth, take place. Okay. From this pericycle, from this layer, the insertion of lateral roots and also the vascular cambium which is responsible for the secondary growth. Okay. This vascular cambium and also lateral roots arise from these places. In dicotyledons, the pith is very small in nature. The parenchymatous cells which is present in between the xylem and phloem are called conjunctive tissue. So what is conjunctive tissue? The parenchymatous tissue which is present in between the xylem and phloem is termed as conjunctive tissues. There are usually 2 to 4 xylems are present in dicotyledon roots, and a cambium ring developed between the xylem and phloem. So in between the xylem and phloem, a cambium ring is present. This cambium is responsible for the secondary growth because this cambium contains meristematic cells and these cells is later responsible for the secondary growth. And next, all the tissue that is present inside the endodermis. So which are those tissues? The pericycle, vascular bundle and pith constitute the stele. So what is stele? The tissues which is present inside the endodermis, that is the pericycle, vascular bundles and pith constitute the stele region. In monocotyledon root, the anatomy of monocotyledon root is somewhat similar to the dicotyledon, but there is some differences exist in the monocotyledon root. So in monocotyledon root, it has epidermis, cortex, endodermis, pericycle, vascular bundles and pith is present. All these layers are also present in dicotyledon. But in case of monocotyledon root, the number of xylem bundles is somewhat different. In case of dicotyledon, we can see only 2 to 4 xylem and phloem bundles, but in case of monocotyledon root, we can see more than 6 bundles. Okay, vascular bundles, we can see more than 6 vascular bundles in the case of monocotyledon root. So such conditions are termed as polyarch conditions. And the pith in monocotyledon root is large as well as developed, but in case of dicotyledon root, the pith is very small. And the monocotyledon root, they do not undergo any secondary growth, which means there is absence of cambium. If cambium is present, then only the secondary growth is possible. But in case of monocotyledon root, there is no such cambium is present. So there is no such secondary growth can be seen.